for the test.
Okay, so you said that, I mean, there are 3 parts for the entire GMAT examination.
Yes.
So which part of the exam does the book caters to?
This book specifically designed for sentence correction only.
Okay.
It is not catering to the needs of all 3 parts of the verbal questions.
Okay.
Primarily because this is the area where students find it most difficult to get the best scores. Even though they are very comfortable with math part, to some extent critical reasoning and reading comprehension part, 90% of the students across the globe accept that sentence correction is the most difficult part. And this is the area where I want to help the students.
Okay. Can you elaborate on the specific part of the examination that you have written now? Like, what are its requirements for a student and what is its character?
Yes. I should accept that this is a unique book in one aspect. This book caters to the needs of the students not by the examination rules. Any sentence or any language is fundamentally a logical structure. Without understanding the logic of the sentence, a person can never give effective sentences.
Right.
Moreover, in GMAT, the sentence correction tests not only the grammar, but also the reasoning behind the sentence. I believe this is one sentence, one book that bridges the gap between the reasoning part of the language and the grammar part of the language. For example, I'll give you 2 very simple sentences, and I would like to tell you something about this. Let us take 2 extremely simple sentences.
Okay.
I ate 1 apple and left 1 behind. One sentence. I ate 1 apple, leaving 1 behind. Both sentences fundamentally mean the same. But the problem is, there is a reasoning aspect behind this.
Okay.
If the second action is an intentional action, for example, I wanted to leave 1 apple behind for someone else.
Okay.
In such a situation, I use the structure, I ate 1 apple and left 1 behind.
Okay.
If the second action is the natural corollary of the first action, naturally we must be using the second sentence.
Okay.
So if I say I ate 1 apple, leaving 1 behind, the second action is rather the natural result of the first action rather than the intentional action.
Correct.
This single point is tested in GMAT many times. And actually, almost 5 to 6% of the questions are dependent on this kind of concepts.
Okay.
But there are so many books in the market, right from world leaders. This point is not mentioned even a single book.
Okay.
All the books put together.
Okay.
I think that is the gap that I wanted to bridge.
Right.
And I fondly hope that I have been successful in that.
Okay. So GMAT is a global examination.
Yes.
You know. So when you are writing the book, who did you keep in your mind? Because ultimately the target, readers will be important while you are writing. Who are your target readers? Is it confined to our own state or country, or what is your target audience?
Yes, the answer is definite no. Okay. I don't confine myself to
okay.
local people. When I am writing for something international, the content is to be of international standards
okay.
and it is to be of international utility.
Right.
Anything written for a local thing, it doesn't serve the purpose for simple reason that people don't think narrowly.
Okay.
When people are aspiring for MBA, they are thinking of global aspects and global levels, and I think the book should cater to the needs of such kind of people. That's fine.
But the problem is, like you mentioned, you gave an example of an apple now.
Yes.
So when you are giving an example, that example should be universal. Otherwise, students cannot relate to the example.
Yes,
so that care must be taken, right?
Yes, that has been taken. Otherwise, it cannot be a standard book.
Okay.
Say we want to write something that sets a new kind of standard in the testing. Test preparation.
Okay.
So naturally, the universal concepts that are tested in the GMAT are taken care of, and the book has never been restricted by the narrower restrictions of region or language, etc.
Okay.
It tries to develop the universal thinking in English language
okay.
for non-native speakers also. That is one thing.
Right. Before we continue our discussion with Mr. MLV Ramana Rao, the author of the book Pearson Guide to Sentence Correction for GMAT examination, we will take a small break. When we come back, we will discuss more about the practice for the test. That is really important as much as the reading of the